inside. Wellington covers. Gama again interferes. Johnny Smith goes after Gama in the corner. We're going to have a little knocking. Here we go. Can they get rid of Ports in mid-ring? That is the question. Wellington pulls him over. Just a minute. He's got knuckle dusters. Hits Wellington on the head. Oh, that's nonsense. That Weasel did it. And then they collaborate on the pile driver. And you know who's going to get the decision.
Here we are. This is ridiculous. 3 count. Jürgen Herman counts out Biff Wellington. And that is absolutely preposterous.
You guys are ridiculous. You can't beat him. You cannot beat him without knuckle dusters from the Weasel. Don't give me the garbage. You know what? You know what happened.
Merely a warm-up match.
You want me to show you the replay?
Show me the replay, Edwin.
Yeah,
we
you
want
know what you'll
fair
see.
and square.
Sure you
Our
do.
hands are raised. Just ask the referee, and that is what counts. Take a look at these 2 waistlines right here. We've been slimming and trimming. A lot of hard training, Edwin. Yes, the tag team belt. Next week right here, the Sissy champions won't be able to run no more.
Well, Pillman and Hart are not running.
There's no more hiding from Garfield and Gama. You cannot run. You cannot hide. You are looking at the next champions, the Karachi Vice. The sky's the limit. Bruce and Brian Pillman. What do you expect when you face 2 athletes the caliber of the great Gama and the great Garfield? Come on, why don't you just give us a bounce now? Save yourself some trouble. Save yourself some injuries. Come on, be serious. You think you really can compete with the Karachi Vice?
I got to ask you one question. Can you win without the Weasel at ringside?
Edwin, we don't need any outside help because we have true athletes.
I'll leave them in the dressing room.
2 of the finest specimens inside the professional wrestling ring. We need no help whatsoever. Everything we do is according to the rule book. We keep everything inside this ring, fair and square. And that's exactly what we're going to do to annihilate the 2 Sissy champions and strip them of their titles.
All right. Enough. Have not been made in the ring. And DeSalvo goes right after Jerry Morrow, wasting no time at all. We told you there was no love lost between these 2. This is to be 1 fall with a 30-minute time limit. And DeSalvo is in an absolute rage. Gave no opportunity for introductions as referee Wayne Hart looks on. DeSalvo runs into a pair of knees, however, right there.
Well, DeSalvo has a large grudge against Champagne Jerry Morrow and an even bigger grudge involving Bad News Allen. Right now, of course, all of his attention is focused on the Champagne Man. You might recall that a couple of weeks back, it was Champagne Jerry Morrow and Bad News Allen who attacked Strangler Steve DeSalvo while he was being interviewed with that duo. I guess it was just a battle of egos, and Morrow and Allen didn't like what they were hearing from DeSalvo, who has just gone flying out onto the canvas, or off onto the concrete, rather, after missing a charge at the Champagne Man. But I have not seen Strangler Steve DeSalvo this worked up in a long, long time.
Morrow taking the tape off his wrist, and of course Weasel gets up on ringside. He was actually directed by Morrow to so do to distract the referee. Then you see Morrow covers the neck with his arm so that the referee cannot possibly see the tape that he's squeezing around DeSalvo's throat. DeSalvo checked in tonight at 290 pounds. And Jerry Morrow at 232. DeSalvo from Los Angeles. Morrow out of Martinique in the French West Indies. And of course, at the moment, aided and abetted by his piece of tape, it's Morrow up top.
And it's difficult to fault your referee for missing that because Morrow had his arm concealing that tape, as Ed Whalen mentioned. Now he has put away the tape. He's tucked it inside his trunks, and he's still going after a choke maneuver on DeSalvo. The referee, of course, calls it off. Wayne Hart, the referee of the year in this territory, he is a good one. He does not let much go in the way of skullduggery, but sometimes even the best miss the call. Morrow using that headbutt and now working on that neck again of big strangler Steve DeSalvo.
Morrow is certainly all over him at this point. Keeps strangling away. Strangling the strangler. Twice the arm goes down. If it went down again, no, it does not. The match would have been all over. We're nearing the 5-minute mark. It's one fall with a 30-minute time limit. And I'm amazed, even though it was done with tape, at the manner in which Morrow is dominating.
Well, I guess if you choke off the oxygen flow to a guy's brain, you're going to have him on Strange Street for a while. Morrow, of course, trying to capitalize with that, with eye gouges, with just about any dirty tactic you can think of. And the crowd is confused. Neither one of these wrestlers are what you would call popular, so they don't know quite who to cheer for, but there has been a smattering of cheers for DeSalvo, and up on the top rope goes Jerry Morrow. He's flying. He lands on top of DeSalvo. One, just one.
5 minutes gone, 5 minutes.
We have hit the 5-minute mark. Jerry Morrow all over him. Going up top, DeSalvo spots him. DeSalvo staging the rally here. Boy, did he belt him with that body check. Oh, he is powerful.
Sheer brute strength by Steve DeSalvo. He's flinging him into the ropes again. Whoa! A rough landing for Jerry Morrow. And Strangler DeSalvo comes down with a big elbow. He's very close to finishing off Morrow. Slams him down. One. No, now he wants more. He wants to really punish the Champagne Man.
He hangs him up. Hangs him way up. Jerry Morrow is yelling uncle, and that's going to be it. Your winner is Steve DeSalvo. A very impressive display by DeSalvo. And now, let's switch to ringside and Jim Davies.
Well, Strangler Steve DeSalvo, you came into the ring like a house on fire, and you certainly burned Champagne Jerry Morrow. Now, one more score to settle. Bad News Allen.
That's what I want, Mr. Allen. I don't know where you are, but this week you ran. The ultimate coward that you are, Mr. Allen. If you can hear me, I'm going to give you an ultimatum. Either come in this ring next week, or now, or forever. Forever, just leave, Mr. Allen. You are tough. You won a medal. He is great in judo. He was great in professional wrestling, but Mr. Allen, you call yourself the Ultimate Warrior. An Ultimate Warrior doesn't run. He doesn't cower like a cockroach, slither underneath the chairs, attack me from behind, Mr. Allen. I trusted you. I had the faith in you that we were going to be tag team partners, and what did you do?
Mr. Allen, you jumped me. You tried to cripple me. But Mr. Allen, the pleasure's going to be all mine. Mr. Davies, I'm not going to sit there and say, I'm going to destroy Mr. Allen. It's going to be a challenge, probably my greatest challenge of my life. But Mr. Allen, I'm looking forward to it. Something that I, the sadistic one, have always looked up. I've looked up to a challenge, and every challenge I've met, I've taken it. I've taken it down, and I've beaten the challenge. And Mr. Allen, you're the ultimate one. The people of Canada want to see it, Mr. Allen, and Mr. Davies, Mr. Whalen, and people of Calgary, or wherever I get Mr. Allen. They're going to see Allen's demise. It's not going to be a 1, 2, 3, Mr. Allen. You're a great street fighter, but so am I. And I could take more punishment than you've ever been able to dish out to anyone else. And Mr. Allen, I'm going to give you a challenge right now. I'll come in the ring, and if you want to jump me from behind, just beware of one thing, Mr. Allen. This arm right here, 28 inches coming across your head. Like that, and Mr. Allen, it's not going to be 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take you down a Pearl Iron, and I'm going to tear his head off.
Okay.
Well, now, this is an unlikely combination. Kerry Brown and Rip Rogers.
Well, I got something to say right now. I want to reintroduce to all my good friends out there, Mr. Kerry Brown. You know, a long time ago, a few years back, we were introduced by his uncle, Dr. Jerry Graham. And since then, we've been tag team partners. In the Central States, we were the Central States Tag Team Champions. In the state of Florida, we were the Florida Tag Team Champions. In the state of Texas, we were the Texas Tag Team Champions. In New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, we were the International Tag Team Champions. In the Memphis area, we were the Mid-South Tag Team Champions. In California, we were the California
Champions.
Champions.
Sound like a railroad conductor.
You didn't know about all those titles, did
I
you,
didn't know
Whalen? You
that.
didn't know about them because you don't read underneath the lines. Now listen, this guy, whatever his preference may be, is a tough individual, and if he gets you backed into a corner, you better watch out.
All right, there they are.
Let me tell you one thing. I
Hurry
can
it
beat you with the hips. I can beat you with the lips.
Yes,
But one thing,
all
you're
right.
mine, baby.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll be right back. Brian Pillman, and there's the bell against Kerry Brown. Pillman checked in for the semi-windup at 226. He's out of Cincinnati. Member of what they call Bad Company. Kerry Brown, 265 from Kansas City, and he goes flying over top. Pillman, with that dazzling speed, cleaning up in a hurry to launch the proceedings.
Well, Pillman is a good one. Some say he could be a champion in his own right instead of just one half of the International Tag Team Champions, along with Bruce Hart. In Bad Company, Pillman ranked number 2 in the Commonwealth mid-heavyweight division. He is good, he is fast, but he is in there against a very wily veteran, Kerry the Refrigerator Brown, although ever since he's peeled off about 20, 25 pounds, he doesn't look quite like a refrigerator anymore.
Don't think he wants to be called that anymore, as a matter of fact. I was rather surprised, did not realize that Kerry Brown and Rip Rogers have spent a lot of time together as tag team partners in other territories. Watch this now. Beautiful. Just a 2 count. And Pillman really flying here in the early going. He's outweighed by some 40 pounds, but that doesn't seem to deter him at all.
Pillman has been a non-stop whirling dervish ever since this bout began. His exceptional speed is even more exceptional when he's in there against a heavyweight the size of Kerry Brown, who basically relies on brute strength. A man who is not really very quick on his feet. Pillman uses his speed to an advantage and also has great strength, excellent upper body development.
Reminds me a lot of me. Yeah, sure. Well, you know, this is a tough assignment for Pillman in the sense that he's got to be thinking of next week's title defense along with Bruce Hart, against Gamma and Ports. That's got to be on his mind as he tangles here with a pretty tough adversary in Kerry Brown.
And that's always a problem in sports when you look past your opponent at your next challenge. And when I interviewed Brian Pillman a little earlier on this evening, I can tell you he didn't want to talk much about Kerry Brown. Instead, he was concentrating on Ports and Gamma 1 week hence. We all know that all kinds of problems can happen if you take your opponent too lightly. And let's hope, for Brian Pillman's sake, that he is not doing that with a big man, Kerry Brown.
This is a one-fall affair, 45-minute time limit. Whoops. Ran into a knee. Got an odd thing happening in the crowd here. Kerry Brown seems to have a lot of fans. Brian Pillman seems to have a lot of fans. They're kind of split, though.
It is an extremely odd crowd. I've heard some of the worst ring villains in all the territory get some lusty cheers from the crowd, and some of the clean-cut, solid wrestlers who play by the book have been getting booed by the crowd. I don't know. There must be a full moon out there, Ed.
Just a 2 count. That's Pillman up top. Referee Hart certainly stays on top of the situation. Keeps asking. Kerry Brown keeps saying no. I will not succumb. Nor do we expect him to so do. A little rub on the ropes. Brian Pillman in the ring with Kerry Brown, and Pillman goes down heavily on the back of his head. We're past the 5-minute mark. The semi-wind-up, a 45-minute time limit. Turn around. Mr. Brown, woo! He vacated the premises, and Pillman didn't know he was gone.
Well, that's one thing about Kerry Brown. He certainly is not as fast on his feet as Brian Pillman, but he knows what to do and when to do it. A man of many years of ring experience. You heard him talking about some of that experience that he had with Rip Rogers in an interview just a few moments ago, and now he is starting to take charge of this fight using his weight advantage to some success, throwing Brian Pillman out onto the concrete. And that concrete, when you hit that after you've been thrust out of the ring, it is a hard fall. Whoa. Kerry Brown went out and delivered a big boot right in the face of Brian Pillman. Pillman is shaken up, trying to get his senses together. Shaking off the cobwebs, and he comes into the ring, and he'll get a rude welcome from Kerry Brown.
Now there's the hip toss, then he wraps him up. We're moving toward the 10-minute mark. One fall, 45 minutes. Crowd chanting, Brian, Brian, Brian. He works his way up, gives a slam to the midsection, and another comes off the ropes very quickly now. Look at this. Brown was very cool. Very, very cool.
Kerry Brown, that's the ring savvy showing. Looked like Pillman might be ready to take advantage. Instead, he met a knee, and then he gets flipped over. Just a 2 count. Very close, though, to a pin. Kerry Brown taking charge. Pillman, once again, will have to fight adversity if he is to come out on top.
Stu Hart at ringside here with a weather eye on proceedings. It's going to be nice to see Leo Burke back in the territory. He's got a lot of friends here, Stu.
Yes, he has. He's one of the better wrestlers. We started out here. I think he broke in here about 1965, and he was always one of the very clever, well-balanced wrestler.
Well, he'll be back in this territory next week. Look out for this. Kerry Brown not too well balanced up there on the ropes. Pillman going upstairs now. Is he taking too much time? Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I do not know why a wrestler gets it into his head that he can take all day to go up to the top rope and then fly long distance across the ring to land on his opponent. He gives the opponent just too much time to recover, and what you saw there is what happens just all too frequently. Brown now throws Pillman out onto the concrete, and he's talking a mean fight inside the ring, saying that's what you get for trying to splash me, you young whippersnapper.
Brown banged him. Hurt his right hand when he did so. And we're now at the 10-minute mark. 1 fall, 45-minute time limit. Hit him with that shoulder block, and Pillman does go wild.
Well, that's a little souvenir of Brian Pillman's professional wrestling, or professional football days. That football-style maneuver, he tries a karate kick of sorts. I don't think it made full contact, but Brown begging for mercy, and he's getting none. That's bad news, Allen says. No mercy. Look at that. Flips on top of him. 1, 2. Pillman just gets a 2 count, but he has Brown in a lot of trouble.
Well, the question of the day, can he finish him off? Double chop to the throat. Oh, just 2. Can Pillman wrap him up? Little interference there by Rip Rogers, who's suddenly on the scene. Just a minute. Knuckle dusters for Kerry Brown.
He's using knuckle dusters. Look at this. Brian Pillman avoided the knuckle dusters and made the pin despite the outside interference by Rip Rogers. They're both ganging up on him, but it's all over. Brian Pillman is your win.
It back to a young man who's a Jason side. We'll try to get things going. The bell is rung. The referee is Jürgen Herman, which fills you with some trepidation. And Rip Rogers, aided by Honey, gets ready to go into the ring. Rip Rogers, hailing from New Orleans, Maka Singh from Saginaw, Michigan, Jason from parts unknown, and Chris Benoit of Edmonton. In comes Maka Singh, runs straight into an arm drag as Benoit handles him in a hurry.
Well, you had to know that Chris Benoit and Jason the Terrible would be very fired up for this bout. It was after a bout last week with Jason against Muckin Singh that Rip Rogers tied Jason's legs to one of the ring posts. The two of them were beating on Jason, knocking him senseless. Here's a bloody pulp. Benoit came to his aid, and you can see Benoit is full of fight, and Rip Rogers is full of beans.
Mucka Singh and Rip Rogers very loath to actually tangle with the opposition. We're getting a lot of talk here, but not much in the way of action. Finally, there's a tag, and in comes Rip Rogers. This is one fall. It's 1 hour.
Well, Rip Rogers is twitching around in there. He's more moves than a Hawaiian hula dancer. I'll tell you, his best move, though, is his famous Rip-a-roni, which is his version of the Boston Crab with a little extra hustle. Whoa, he almost ran into Jason. Now he does. He's getting pounded back and forth between Benoit and Jason. And I don't think you want to ask Rip Rogers what day it is.
Got caught in the old revolving door. Did he ever? I don't know what Jürgen Herman is complaining about on the far side with Chris Benoit. Oh, he's checking the hair. He feels that darling Rip might have got his coiffure messed up.
Well, Rip was very concerned. He was worried that that little altercation might have resulted in him getting a split end.
Right. Watch this now. I love it. I love it. Mucka banging up his own man.
And Rip Rogers is clutching his wrist. I mean, wouldn't that be awful if we saw Rip Rogers in the ring with a limp wrist?
Jason and Benoit pacing nervously. They want to get some action. The other two reluctant to provide it. Question of the day, as Mucka got something in his right hand, he slips it into his trunks.
Well, it's not too difficult to play the now you see it, now you don't game with referee Jürgen Herman, always seeming to set new standards for ineptitude in the ring.
He blocked it. Jason blocked it and grabbed off the foreign object. He's banging away, flailing away, and Mucka Singh is getting a dose of his own medicine. Well, that is what you call real justice.
That is Justice Jason style. Jason now holding up Muckin Singh's arm, and Benoit delivers a crushing blow to his rib cage somewhere underneath that 380-pound exterior. I'm sure there is a rib cage.
Tag is finally made, and in comes Rip Rogers. Jürgen Herman has been so busy searching Benoit that he's forgotten all about the bad guys in the ring. It's a tag team battle. Jason the Terrible and Chris Benoit against Bucka Singh and Rip Rogers. Rogers runs into trouble against Jason and against Chris Benoit. Rogers taking an awesome pounding. Mucka reaching down to make a tag, but so far, Rogers barely runs out of the ring and has not made a tag. Getting some advice from the Weasel. Well, the crowd gives Rogers a Tinkerbell chant.
Well, it's a strange combination. They call Rip Rogers Tinkerbell. They call Muckin Singh Toilet Bowl, so it's Tinker and Toilet in there.
Nearing the 10-minute mark, there's a 1-hour time limit. Benoit trying to pick up Mucka Singh. Benoit's outweighed by a whole person, 160 pounds, but look at that. Beautifully done. He goes up top. He's going to fly. Nice work by Benoit.
Benoit wasted no time, and he's wasted no time again. He's up top, coming down. Whammo. There's a splash. 1-0, and Rip Rogers comes in and puts one of those pink boots alongside the head of Benoit. Both teams now tag, and I think Rogers is regretting that he made the tag. I don't think he wants in there now at all.
An action-packed main event. 1-hour time limit. Jason and Rogers at long range. Something's got to give here. Good shoulder block by the bigger man. Oh, did he bang him? Jason showing a lot of power. Watch Jason in the ring, James, and I keep wondering when he's going to pull a double cross on somebody. So far, he's been totally trusted.
Ever since he left the control of the Zodiac, in fact, he unmasked the Zodiac since that time. Look at this. Jason threw Benoit one. He threw Benoit right on top of Rip Rogers. But like I say, since that time, Jason the Terrible has teamed up with the likes of Owen Hart, who will be returning within a month to the territory. And now with Benoit, he has been a trustworthy wrestler. Not once has he double-crossed his partners.
I don't know if I can fully believe it yet. However, we shall see. Big Mucka against Little Chris. If you can call 218 pounds of muscle little. Rip Rogers interfering on the outside, banging his opponent around, and finally shoves him in the ring. There is no tag. No tag as Rip Rogers comes in. Pulled him down. Where's the referee? Where's the referee? Out to lunch.
That was about an 8 count. Jason the Terrible was extremely frustrated He came into the ring and was counting. Now Jason has to be restrained by the referee, and that gives Muck and Singh an opportunity to come in once again without a tag. Big clothesline from the 380-pounder, and Benoit clutching at his throat. There is that big bear hug. 380 pounds of pressure. Crowd is exhorting Benoit, but this will be very difficult for him to escape this crunching bear hug.
Can he jam his way out of here? He does. Boy, he does not want to trade body blocks with Mucka Singh. That's kamikaze stuff. Now Rip Rogers on the tag coming in as we move toward the 15-minute mark.
There's a small package by Benoit. He's pinning him. The referee doesn't see it. The crowd going crazy. Finally, he sees it. And Rogers breaks it. That was a pin of about an 8 count once again.
The crowd beginning to chant about the inadequacy of the referee.
There you see the awesome strength of 380-pound Muck and Singh. He laid that big elbow, exploded it into the face, and there's a power slam. Benoit down for a 2, almost 3. It was a matter of inches. The referee's hand off the canvas, almost a 3 count. Benoit is badly shaken up. Muck and Singh makes the tag. They're going to try and finish off Benoit in a hurry. 2 big headbutts. Benoit, groggy. They drive him into the turnbuckle. And the referee is now not on the scene, but look at that. Rogers tangling with Jason. That's a mistake.
Rogers is absolutely taunting Jason the Terrible. Man, he threw him through the stratosphere. 1.
Well, Jason gave his partner, Chris Benoit, a little help. Helped get his foot up on the ropes to end that count by the referee. But I think Benoit is going to have to make a tag pretty quick. He is running out of steam, being battered and slammed around by Muck and Singh. He's trying to force his way to the corner, makes the tag, but the referee didn't see it.
And you watch, the referee is going to order Jason out of there.
15 minutes.
Here goes Benoit. Covers again. Look at this. The referee is totally incompetent. He's on the far side. Oh, my. Benoit gets dumped on the ropes. Illegal maneuver. Rogers is going to go for his version of the Boston Crab. He calls it the Rip-a-Rody. And Benoit succumbs to the Rip-a-Rody. And through incompetent refereeing, there's no other way to describe it, the whole thing winds up with a Rogers and Mucka Singh win. Unbelievable, the officiating in that affair. At any rate, what can you do? We'll be right back. Their team is after you, but right now you're thinking of Gama and Ports. Are you okay?
I think I'm going to be all right next week. The guys who are not going to be okay is Gama and Ports next week. I'm going to test that shoulder right off, and if I can get a clothesline on Gamma and Ports, I'm going to try to tear their damn heads off. I think we're going to come out victorious next week. After that, maybe Rogers and Brown, or Bad News and Morrow, or Muckin, or whoever. Right now, it's Gamma and Garfield. That's #1 on my priority list.
Well, I tell you, you two guys have never run. You've never run from
I'll
a
tell you,
fight.
Ed, just when you're worried about Ports and Gamma, this Rock Hudson of professional wrestling, the Midnight Cowboy, Rip Rogers, comes in and interferes. Well, let me tell everybody out there, a sick, perverted, obscene, vile person like Rogers and Brown, they got no business being in professional wrestling. If they got the guts to step in the ring with Bad Company, we'll see to it that they never appear again.
Okay, there's the word from Pillman and Hart.
Chris Benoit, you and your partner, Jason the Terrible, robbed but what I can only call incompetent refereeing.
Jim Davies, you've seen, as well as all the people out there seen, that I had Rip Rogers beaten here several times. If it wasn't for that incompetent ref, I'd had him beat here. I had him beat 2 or 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Rip Rogers, next week I want you in a single. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna beat you like the dog you are. Bucketsy, I didn't see you in here much tonight with Jason here. What are you trying to run from? Why don't you sign a contract with Jason for next week in a single? He can't run. He can't hide. He's gonna get you.
Okay, Jason, you want Muckin Singh? And what are you gonna do to him? Jason the Terrible, he means business.
Well, now, Jason wants you. Jason wants you.
Jason wants me? Jason, that idiot maniac wearing a mask because he's so ugly. He's about 6'4", about
seem to be
275.
anxious to tangle.
Well, I don't want to fight Jason because everybody knows he's a maniac. Everybody knows he's 6'4", 275 pounds. He's nuts and he wants me. I don't want any... Let him take on somebody his own size, like the Mocking Man, Mr. Singh, right here.
Nervous. You sound
I'm never nervous in my life. Talk to Mr. Singh about that because
Mr. Singh, Mr.
Let me
Singh.
tell you something, Waylon. Once again, I proved myself. I come out here with any new partner, every new partner, I just keep winning. I win, I win, I win. That's a secret. But there's something I want to tell you, Omar, wherever you're hiding behind rice patties or something. You and me, Omar, we're not done. You have my North American Championship belt, Omar. The only thing you're going to be wearing when you get back is just around your head, stopping the blood from pouring out. Me and you got an issue to settle, Omar. You just come back to your own hometown. I'm still here. I'm still winning. I'm still the best wrestler here, and you got to come back and beat me, Omar. Get ready, Omar. As soon as you get back, it's me and you. North American belt. That's rightfully mine.
He is tearing up Japan.
Hey, who couldn't tear up a bunch of 5-foot-tall guys?
Oh,
Have them come back here
There's
and
some
wrestle
of
a
them,
man.
a lot of great wrestlers. You don't want to meet Jason, huh?
I love your tie.
Yeah, thank you. I gotta get out of here.
I'm still here, Omar. I'm still here, Omar.
All right. He's talking about Owen. He can't pronounce Owen. Well, I'll tell you, I'm confused. I don't know who's going to fight who. Nonetheless, we shall look forward to seeing the action next time. But in the meantime, and in between time, that's it. Another edition of TSN Wrestling. Bye-bye now. Well, it was funny. All the time he was running across the ring there, he was yelling, "Watch the hair, watch the hair, watch the hair." Benoit didn't come within 3 feet of the hair.